Hey, welcome my scrapping friends to Scrapping It Up. I am Vanessa, and this is part 2 of our Rouge landscape album that I've been teaching you how to make. I will put the link to the part 1 where we made the pages down below, and I'll put the link to the album share where I showed you the whole album that we were making. All right, so in the last class, we got all the pages made. Okay, 3 pages. And I do have the tutorial if any of you is interested, just for $8. I'm teaching it here on YouTube. I gave you all the measurements, but if you would like to have that tutorial, I'm doing it at a discount just for $8 since I'm teaching it right here. All right. So in this, we're going to try and finish her up. And so here's our pieces that I told you that go on the inside and back covers. This is our folio hinge. Okay. Folio hinge. It is, gosh, just a second. I should have wrote the measurements down. That was dumb. Okay, there it is right there. It's 6 1/4 by 7. 6 1/4 by 7. Okay. And you start at 1 inch and then you just score 1/2 an inch all the way through it. Okay. So it is 6 1/4, 6 1/4 by 7. And you start at the 1 inch score line and then you just score 1/2 an inch all the way through it. All right. So you're going to flip it over to the bumpy side, and I may have to get some new tape. Ugh. Your 1 inch is what you're going to attach to your album. Okay, the 1 inch is what attaches to the album cover. So what you're going to do, you're going to skip 1, 2, 3. You're going to put your tape on the 4th line, and I'm doing it on the bumpy side. So you have your 1 inch, skip it, and then 1, 2, 3, and on the 4th one, apply your tape. And try to keep your tape pretty straight, okay, if you can. And I'm using 3/8. So that's our 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. So on the 8th one, again, you're putting your tape. Wouldn't you know it? Do I have enough? Please be enough. I don't know if I got it. Oh, I hope that's enough. Did it stick? I think it'll be okay. It's still sticking over. All right. Okay. So you stuck your tape on the 4th one. Let's see if I can get this. Here's your 1 inch is what you stick down to your album. This is my floating folio hinge that I taught you guys how to make probably 4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. I know 3 or 4 years ago. The 1 inch sticks to your album. Then 1, 2, 3, stick your tape on the 4th 1/2 inch. Then 1, 2, 3, stick it on the 8th one. So you're sticking tape on your 4th and your 8th one, okay? You stick it in your scoreboard and you score it at 1 inch, and then you just do 1/2 an inch all the way across this, okay? And it is, here. And then you start at the 1 inch. Then you just do 1/2 an inch all the way through, okay? So stick your tape on the 4th and the 8th one. Now what you're going to do is you're going to fold on that score line right after this tape. Fold on it and burnish. Okay, what we're doing is this tape is going to stick to the next 1/2 inch space. It's going to form a hinge. So stick it down and just pull back. Okay, Now we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to fold on that score line right after that tape. Okay, because we're sticking this 1/2 inch to this 1/2 inch. Okay, so take your tape off. This is really simple, guys, really simple. Stick her down and just pull back on it. Okay, just pull back on it. Now you're going to flip it over, and the hinge that was formed, you're just going to kind of flip it. And I know I'm shaking the table. Sorry, guys. Give her a good burnish. Okay. Okay. So now we have this. Okay. It has 2 hinges. Now what you're going to do, these 2 hinges, you have a 1/2 inch in between these 2. All you're going to do is pinch on that and fold. And I'm trying to line it up. Okay. See, these 2 hinges line up when I fold them together. It's just almost like an accordion. Okay. Just use your fingers and pinch it. Okay. See, it went out the other way. Here's our hinges. This points the other way. Okay. See that now? Now you're going to do the same thing here. Okay. Here's your hinge. Your next score line, you're just pinching it forward. Okay. Make sure that they line up and pinch. Okay. Okay. Again. Here is our 1 inch that we're going to be attaching. So this would be hinge 1 for page 1, page 2, page 3. Okay. Do you see that? Page 1, page 2, page 3. Here's our hinges right here. And these are pointing the other way. Okay. Keep this side pretty even. Okay. Keep those pretty even. Now you're going to do the same thing on the next score line. Here's my 1 inch that I'm attaching. We're going to do the same thing. We're just folding that up just like that. Try and line her up with all your other ones. Okay. See, we just formed a accordion hinge. Okay. Make sure they all line up nice. Then you're going to fold back on the next one. See? Again, here's our 3 hinges. This one doesn't go all the way to here. This one just folds on that 1/2 inch. And then you fold it back again, right on that 1 inch line. Make sure you line it up with your other ones. Okay, so it should look like this. This is what attaches to the album. Then you have like a W right here, and then your hinge, hinge, hinge. Okay, so when you got it all folded, and it looks all nice and even on this side, just grab your bone folder, give her a good burnish. Okay, give her a good burnish. And if you need to, you can do each one. Just be careful when you're doing that, because your bone folder, you don't want it going through your cardstock. So it looks like an accordion hinge now. Okay. You have your 1 inch that attaches to your album. Then you have a W. Yeah. Yep, it's a W. Then a hinge, hinge, and a hinge. Okay. So now the back side of this, I'm going to apply my tape. Okay. I'm going to apply my tape right up against that score line. Okay. And all I have right now is 3/4, or 1/4 of an inch, but that's all right. Should have had 3/8 there instead of 1/4. Yeah, I could just trim it off. I'll do that. Yeah, you need tape on the whole inch piece. I don't know why I just didn't use 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. So just like that. Okay. So that's what attaches to our album. Here's your hinges. Okay, now for the hinges. So now you have, here's your hinge. You have a score line here, see? And it's pushed out like that. So what you're going to do, you're going to apply your tape, and I would stay closer to the folded edge. Okay? Stay closer to the folded edge on your hinge. Okay? You're going to apply tape to both sides. Both sides, please. Okay? Do this to all 3 hinges. And then we'll taper them, because the hinge is the same size as our pages, so you need to kind of taper them so you can get them on a little bit easier. If you didn't taper them, they go on kind of hard. All right. So now I'm just tapering just to the score line. Do not go past. In fact, I'm going to grab one of my pages and make sure that this fits before I go any further. It should. If not, I'll trim my hinge down. It goes in between. Oh yeah. It's a little tight, but it works. Just two. Okay, do that to all 3 of them. You're just tapering just to that score line. Don't go past it, because it will show if you go past it. Okay, just up to it. All right. So now you have this. There's what attaches to our album. Then we have that W in between the hinge, in between what we attach in the first hinge. Okay. There we go. So if you happen to have any questions, please ask. Okay, please ask. But that's my floating folio hinge. All right. And there's the measurements. All right. So, and always make sure that you check before you put this on your album. Make sure that they fit. Okay. I should try another one just to make sure. Usually if it fits one, it fits them all. Yeah, see, mine's pretty tight. I should have made it just a little bit smaller, but I'm okay with that. My score line shows just a hair. That doesn't bother me whatsoever. Okay, set this all aside. Let's get our album covers going. Okay, chipboard. 2 pieces at 6 1/4 by 9 3/4. Okay. 6 1/4 by 9 3/4. And then the spine is 2 1/4 by 6 1/4. Okay. All right, now I use tie back on my spines. So let me find a little piece of tie back if I can find one. 4 by 8 1/2. I changed the measurements because I gave you just a little bit more room. It was 2 inches, and I changed it to 2 1/4. So really 4 inches is still good. Well, let's do 4. Let's do 4 1/4. Okay, by 8 1/2. Okay, 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. Now this part is optional. You do not have to put tie back in your album. I always do because it helps protect the spine of the album. And I moved it. Okay, this is optional. And this is just an office supply. I will put a link down below to my Amazon to where you can click on the link to your tie back on Amazon. Okay, so I'm just going to trim this up just a little bit. So we need 8 1/2. 8 1/2 by 4 1/4. Okay, there we go. And like I said, this is optional. You do not have to do this. Okay. And then I attach my Scrappin tape to the back. Okay. All right. Well, we got a Scrappin tape out on one side only, and one edge. You're going to apply your Scrappin tape, and I'm using 1/2 inch. Okay. There we go. That's all you do. Okay. That is all you do. Now, this piece here will attach to our tie back. And I'm just going to center this. And this is 2 1/4. Ah, dang it. 2 1/4 by 6 1/4. And I'm using medium weight chipboard. All right, and I'm just going to center this. Here we go. Give her a good varnish. Oh, I know, I'm wiggling the camera, sorry. Just make sure you don't have any bubbles. Okay, so now I'm going to apply my 1/4 inch Scrappin tape right against my chipboard. Just the length of your chipboard. Okay, that's it. That's spacer tape that allows room for our covers. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this right here. All right, just like that. So I'm going to take my tape off, and I'm just going to line it up right along my 1/4 inch, right along the bottom, lining my chipboard up. Sorry, I can't see. Okay, that looks good. Do the same thing for the other side. Don't take that spacer tape off yet. Okay. Looks good. Give her a good burnish. right. So just like that. So now what you're going to do, I could use, well, let's just use, I already have it in my hands, but say we could use glue. Try not to get any wrinkles in your tie back. Okay, now what you're going to do is take your tape off and we're going to roll that up. Okay. And this part here, I grab my 1/4 inch score pile tape and I just bring it up just a little bit. Okay. Just like that. Okay. Then I roll this up. You want that pretty tight. Give her a good burnish. Okay, just like that. Do the same thing to the other side. And like I said, I use tie back in all my albums. I know I see a lot of people that don't. I always do. And wrapping it like this really helps. You know, you're taking it, sliding it back and forth on your shelf or whatever. It does, you know, if your cardstock were happen to break or crack, you're still going to have your tie back saving you. Like I said, it is optional. You do not have to do tie back. Okay, so now we have this, and I think it's 8 1/4 by 12, 2 pieces, 8 1/4 by 12. Okay, so now we're going to attach these 2 pieces together. I'm just going to use my cardstock. I think I might use glue to wrap my album. Did I get that off? I think I did. Okay, I'm just putting 1/2 inch. Always at least 1/2 inch when you're joining your cardstock together. Okay, guys. So now I'm going to take my tape off and I'm going to join the 2 pieces together. I'm going to follow my score pile tape. There we go. All right. So my next step is, as I lay this on my paper and I see where I want it to go, and what I do is I usually just draw around it with my pencil so I know where to lay that album back. I know to lay my album back to that. Okay. So now what you're going to do is we're going to apply our tape to this. And I'm going to cheat. I'm going to use my big roll. But if you were doing it, well, I'll just do it this way to show you guys. Okay. I go all the way around my album. All the way around it. Okay. Because not everyone has that big roll. I use it because, you know, it saves time during classes. You're not having to watch me tape. Okay. So what I do on, here's your spine area. I go on each side of that spine area. Okay. Do each side. And then I do it again. And sometimes maybe I overkill it, but we spend quite a bit of money on building these albums. They might as well And you can use glue for this as well, too. You don't have to use score pile tape. That's just what I use. So I'm going to do another piece here. And I'm going to do another piece right in the middle of my spine. Okay. And then what I do, if I would, when I used to do it this way, I just do it like this. Okay. So just like that. I may use glue when I fold it. It is nice having the big roll. Saves a lot of time. Okay, so just like that. So now what I do with my ATG, I just kind of go in between these. I think I'm going to do another one here. Got a little, should have done one more strip. Oops, that one. There we go. All right. So now I can take up all my tape. And you could just do one side at a time. I usually just go for the gusto and hope, pray to the Scrappin fairy that she lets me do it right. See, if I would have used that big roll, we'd already be done. But I wanted to show you how I do my, if you don't have the big roll, how to do it. And I live in, we have some pretty good humidities during the summer months. So, and if you don't put tape like I did, it will, your cardstock sometimes will bubble and you will be able to see it. But it's your album, your way. You do it however you want to do yours. Okay, this is just how I do mine. Okay, you can do it however you want. All right. Now I flip her over, stick her down. Hopefully I get it right. Might be easier to hold that up just for a minute. All right, now you can take your spacer tape off. I turn it over, give her a good burnish. And when I'm doing that, and I know I'm going to be wiggling the table, I apologize. I'm going around the outside of my cardstock. I'm trying to train that to flip over. Okay. And I don't use my bone folder. If I'm going to cover this all up, then I will use my bone folder. If I'm not going to cover, of course, my bone folder kind of mars the cardstock up, so that's why. All right. And you always want to make sure your spine is in the middle where you joined those. Never put that in the spine area. Never, ever, ever. So now I'm just going to start training it. And I'm not saying that this will help, it helps prevent cracks. I would never use cardstock that is white cord to do this. I'm using 65-pound weight from Michaels. I usually have pretty good luck with it, but I did do one here the other day that did crack on me. I usually have pretty good luck with it. Okay. So now I'm just going to do my bone folder. Just kind of go around it. Okay. I got to do the ends. So just a second while I kind of work the ends. And I know I'm shaking the camera. I apologize. Okay. Should I use glue? I can try it. I can try it. Just trying to get her trained. Okay. Just, kind of work with it. Okay. But yeah, never use white core cardstock to cover your album, because it will crack. And there are just certain papers that are just prone to cracking. All right. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use glue. I'm going to try it because it'd be quicker, maybe. I miter. And how I miter is I stick my ruler right up against the edge and make a little tick mark. And I know there's all kinds of fancy tools out there to use, but this is how I do it. I'm not one to have a bunch of fancy tools. And there's different ways of doing this too. I've seen other ones do it differently. Okay, again, I just butt my ruler up against, and it's a Tim Holtz ruler. Okay, it usually gives me about the perfect that I want. Right along, cut off right along your pencil line. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to use glue. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I think it might be faster. You guys have watched me tape long enough. All right. I'm going to go right along the edge. And then I'm just going to do some squigglies. Okay, and I am going to get in this spine area a little bit more. Okay. Now, I just work her until I feel to where she's going over pretty good. And then I just use my other finger and help push her down. Yeah, see, I always use score pal tape. This is my first time I think I've ever used glue like this. I'm just going to kind of get these burnished a little bit. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever used glue for this. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Right along the edge. Okay, and then my little squigglies. I'm going to go extra where my tie back's at, and then my spine area. Because the glue is a lot cheaper than score pal tape. And then when I feel her where she's good, I just use my other finger, stick her down. Which when I use score pal tape, I can, hear it starting to grab. All right, let's do the ends. Okay, before I go, I'm just going to use my bone folder and just kind of wrap it around. Okay, just wrapping it around. See, I'm so used to the score pile tape having instant, but that's all right. Okay, let's do the other one. Okay, I'm going to wrap them around. Okay, just wrap it right around your chipboard. Okay, and then use your glue. Oops, trying to glue my table. Excuse me. And stick her down. All right. So then I kind of go around. Yeah, that done pretty good. Well, you gotta be careful not to get your glue everywhere. See, I'm messy with glue. That's why I shy away from it. Okay, so now, make sure. Now I'm just gonna kind of work this a little bit. Okay. Use your bone folder and work it. Okay. All right, there's our album. Now you can also do this on the other side. Just want to be careful when you're doing this. Okay. All right. There's our album cover. Pretty, pretty. Not a bit of it cracked. Yay. Most of the time using the 65-pound weight cardstock from Michael's, it doesn't crack. But I have had a couple of, one done it to me the other day and here a couple of years ago. Usually I don't have too much problem with it. All right. Now, it's up to you how you want to cover this. If you want to cover it with black all the way through and then add everything on, that's how I do mine. Okay. So, I had this piece left over. No, it's not big enough. Okay. Let me grab my black real quick. And I'm going to go just a hair under 6 1/4. I'm going to go 6 1/8. 6 1/8. Okay. 6 1/8. So that means I'll have to use 2 pieces. I'm going to grab another one. So 6 1/8. I always cover my chipboard, then I decorate. Okay, I want all of my chipboard covered. All right, I think I'm going to meet these. Do I want to just do it here or overlap it here? And if I overlap it, I'm just overlapping it. Or you can just butt it up against each other because we're going to decorate it with paper. So I think I am. I'm going to meet mine in the middle, and I'm just going to butt them up against each other. If I overlap, that's okay because we're going to cover it with decorative paper. So I'm going to cut mine. If I do 11 and 11, Let me just grab my pencil here and make a little tick mark. So if we do 11 by 11, there'd just be one piece is going to have to be just a little bit longer. We could do 11 and 1/8. That would catch it. Okay, 11 and 1/8. Okay, 11 and 1/8. Okay. I'm just double checking. And I'm only leaving like not even 1/8 of an inch around the whole thing. Okay, it's overlapping just 1/8 of an inch, and that does not bother me because we're going to be covering it up. All right, so now I'm going to try glue. I've never tried glue doing this, but I'm going to do it. Now, one thing you want to make sure is you get glue in the spine of the album. Because if you don't, it will buckle on you. So I'm going to apply some glue on both sides here. I'll go a little ways. Oh, that ain't the spine area. Ding dong. All right, so I'm just going to place her where I think she needs to be. About 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so before I'm really sticking that down, I'm finding my oh, I had glue on my fingers. See, that's why I don't use glue. Oh well. And you could always use your decorative colored cardstock too. You can use your design paper. I always like to have my black border or craft or whatever I'm using. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of crease. I got glue on my bone folder. Maybe I better let it dry first. All right, let's put our other piece on. Okay, this one's going to be around the spine area, so I'm going to do a little bit extra. That's probably too much glue. All right. Stick her down. Make sure she lines up with your other piece. I'm going to find my spine area, then roll her over. We'll be covering that up anyway. And I'm probably going to wish I would have used score pile tape. It is what it is. At least I tried it. All right. All right. Here's our album. Ah, see. Wish I would have used score pile tape. Now when I fold that, that buckles. That buckled right there. Maybe I didn't get enough glue. That could be too. All right. While that's drying, I'm not going to mess with that anymore. I'm going to let that dry before I do anything else. Okay. Okay. Our hinge. Here is our hinge that we made. This hinge, okay, there's it all nice and closed, is going to go right here. Okay. Make sure she fits, and it should run from top to bottom. Okay. You may have just a little bit more album. I'm going to kind of fold this hinge out to where I just have the 1 inch showing, or under. Okay. And I'm looking at my hinge to make sure, you know, she's all stretched out nice and straight. Okay, nice and straight. I know my head's going to get in the way, guys. You want this to be about 1/8 of an inch away from your spine. Okay, 1/8 of an inch away from your spine. So if you have to make you know, sorry, my head's going to get in the way. Well, if I just hold my hand there, take my first tape off, I should be okay. There. Now I can take the rest of my tape off. I think I have a 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. Oh, that was nice. All of it didn't come off. Give that a good burnish. All right. So now we have our hinge, and it rides right along the side of our album. I don't want to open it yet. I want this glue. I got quite a bit of glue there. It needs to dry before I do any more bending to it. Okay. So I think this is a good place to stop, guys. And then we'll add the pages in the next class, and I'll release that tomorrow. So we'll add our pages. Here's our page. And then we can decorate, get our front, inside of our front and back covers all done. Okay. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. As always, keep scrapping. Bye-bye.